This is the infamous Moki Dugway. Ascending 1,200 feet in 3 miles with no guardrails. The road is literally carved into the southern Utah cliffs over the Valley of the Gods, just north of Mexican Hat. Sheer terror if you're afraid of heights, but if you're okay with peeking over 1,000-foot precipices while riding a motorcycle, well, it's just part of the adventure. Riding behind me is Curt Graves. It's been 30 years since we last caught up. We first met in elementary school back in Keene, New Hampshire. Curt's mom was from Austria. My mom was from Finland. Maybe that's why we hit it off. After school, we shot his BB gun in his basement. On snowy weekends, we skied at Pinnacle Resort. Although resort is a stretch, more like hill. They had a pommel lift that was like an upside-down mushroom you had to straddle. I never mastered it, and most of the time I just looked like this. At age 11, my family moved to Utah. Somewhere along the line, both Curt and I got bit by the motorcycle bug. For him, it was when his older brother returned from Vietnam and bought a Honda CB 750. And if your brother gets to have a motorcycle, well, so do you. Thus began Curt's steady acquisition of his next 18 motorcycles. My own obsession was helped along by Kenny Kerbaugh, who couldn't drive a car, but he could ride a moped, and he didn't mind letting Curt and my brother Rod and I race that moped around and around our house. Then my Uncle Larry put me on a Honda 50 mini trail. Yep, this is the very magical moment. Me on the 50, my brother Rod on the 80. When I was 11 years old, my older cousin Dale gave me his old 80cc Yamaha YG1. Finally, I had my very own motorcycle. A few years after that, Rod and I bought a 79 DS 185, our first dirt bike. Then, sometime later, my dad brought home a used 77 Vespa Rally 200. This is that very bike. I still have it, and it's in better shape now than it was then. In his late 20s, Curt moved to Denver. That's why we were able to meet up for this ride. Today, I'm riding a 2023 KTM 890 Adventure, and Curt's on a 2019 KTM 1290 Adventure S. We're carving the roads between Cisco, Moab, Mexican Hat, Moki Dugway, Lake Powell, and Hanksville, Utah. Those who don't ride don't get it, but that's okay. For me, riding is a meditation. It may sound strange, but this is when I feel the most relaxed. I think good thoughts, break away from my routine, and see things more clearly. A good ride leads me to make those subtle but needed course corrections in life. And for those who are worried about me out there on the road like this, just know that I'm doing everything I can to stay safe, including trailering my bike to more remote places where there's less traffic, and always wearing full gear and an airbag vest that blows up if I crash. Besides that, I generally ride like a granny. So here's our approach to Moki Dugway through the Valley of the Gods on this cloudy, moody day. We'll do our final checks, and then it's throttle time. trail is the thing, not the end of the trail. Travel too fast, and you miss all you were traveling for. So here's to the road ahead, Curt. Thanks for the ride.